Hey class, so let's talk about the endocrine system. Overview of hormonal system, how it functions. We're not going to go into details with the actual hormones, that's going to be in the second installment. Here we're just going to look at what is endocrine system. Endocrine system. So we have a hypothalamus, right? So that's in the brain, right? That's the hypothalamus. So then within the hypothalamus, there is connected directly is a pituitary gland. With the pituitary gland, we have a posterior pituitary gland, and we have anterior pituitary gland. This is a true endocrine gland. You'll see it why. So the hypothalamus connected to the pituitary gland to the infundibulum, like that. It's like a stalk here. With the hypothalamus, we have hypothalamic neurons. So here's a cell body. Here's a cell body. This code is paraventricular nucleus, supraoptic nucleus. So the paraventricular nucleus, there's a direct axon, right? Goes right in the posterior pituitary gland. And with the supraoptic nucleus, there's also axon goes directly in the pituitary gland. At the end of the axon, we have axon terminals, like this. So basically, when you look at the neuron has a cell body, like this, has this dendrite, right? And it has an axon through which we conduct electrical current. And at the end, we have axon terminals. Within the axon terminals, we have vesicles with neurotransmitters. And that will excite a cell receptor. The neurotransmitter will excite the cell receptor. So here's the cell body with the nucleus, right? Paraventricular nucleus and supraoptic nucleus. So when it comes to posterior pituitary gland, we make hormones within here, and we send them, we store them. We store them at the axon terminals right here in vesicles. So paraventricular nucleus makes hormone called oxytocin, and supraoptic nucleus makes hormone called antidiuretic hormone. We will discuss functionalities of each hormone in second installment. So here's just the explanation between these two post and anterior pituitary gland, because the physiology is slightly different. So we make hormones within the hypothalamus, within the cell body's nucleus, and we send them and store them here. So when the stimulus arrives into the brain, because the blood constantly passes through the hypothalamus, through the thalamus, constantly passes, so the brain receives the stimulus and releases these hormones accordingly. And then hormone will bind with the receptor of a target organ, right? Target organ or target tissue. And that organ will do whatever that hormone is intended to do. Hormones are regulatory molecules. They regulate things. Hormone is a key, and this is a lock. Again, functionalities of the hormones and what they are, we will discuss in the second installment. With anterior pituitary gland, we also have those hypothalamic neurons, right? But here's the difference. So here you have the cell body, right? And here's the axon, and it stops here. So then it is a vascular system, and here's a follicular space, follicles. We're making hormones here. Compared to the posterior pituitary gland, we make hormones here, and we store them there. With anterior pituitary gland, we make hormones here and we keep them here. So there's an axon here that connected to this vascular system. So when you need to release these hormones, we'll send the message, and that message will travel through the vascular system into the follicles, and we will release hormones. So the hormones that we make here in anterior pituitary gland is a growth hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and prolactin. We will discuss functionalities of these hormones in the next installment. So the reason we call this anterior pituitary gland is the master or the true gland just because we make hormones here in the actual gland. We receive the signal, blood passes, we receive the stimulus. So, and through the blood, we send here hormones. So, there's releasing hormones and there are inhibiting hormones. You can inhibit the release of these hormones, or you can stimulate. So, this growth hormone here, adrenocorticotropic hormone here, thyroid stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and prolactin. We made them and we store them. We need to send other hormones from here through the blood into this follicular space, so we can release them. So within this region, we make releasing hormones or inhibiting hormones. To release growth hormone, we need growth hormone releasing hormone. To inhibit this growth hormone, we need growth hormone inhibiting hormone. So it's basically, in order to release this growth hormone, we need to send out this growth hormone releasing hormone so that can kick in the butt in this hormone, and then we're going to release this hormone, and that hormone will travel through the blood and will act on the target organ. The physiology of this we will discuss in the second installment. To release adrenocorticotropic hormone, we need cortical releasing hormone. To release thyroid hormone, we need thyroid releasing hormone. To release luteinizing and follicle stimulating hormone, we need gonadotropin releasing hormone. And to release prolactin, actually here we're holding it. We need prolactin inhibiting hormone. You see, some of them have releasing hormone, some of them have inhibiting hormone. That it means that your body constantly producing prolactin, so you need to inhibit it, right? You need to slow it down. And it all works in a negative feedback fashion. So if you have a releasing hormone, then through negative feedback, you can act on the organs to slow down the release. So the basic overview of the anterior pituitary gland and the posterior pituitary gland.